Good afternoon to you, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of your favorite business development program on radio, Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, they say good energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Masterclass also brought to us by GCB. GCB, your bank for life. My name, as always, is Barnafo, and I'm happy to be your host for the show today. And so in the last couple of weeks, we started a certain conversation on thinking positively, having an abundance mindset here in the studio, and we've been spending time here with a wonderful gentleman who has shared some various thoughts with us. Last week on the show particularly, we spent time talking about how to deal with stress and challenges, having an abundance mindset. Today we're going to be talking about team vision and mindset to ensure maximum and optimized coordination. Last week we ended the show on having an optimistic mind, if you like, so that once you think the right things, then you begin to see those things. It's called the inner energy. You begin to see those things in your business. And there was one thing that he said, that if all the things that you look for in your business are the problems and the issues, those are the things that you will see. Daniel is back here in the studio with us. Daniel, you're welcome to today's conversation.
Thank you so much.
I mean, every time I think about coming here to spend time with you and with our listeners, I'm excited because there's so much positive energy that comes from these conversations, and I keep getting very good referrals. And I'm hoping that last week we dealt with challenges and stress. Today we're going to be looking at how to sort of channel and harness all of that positive energy into doing something beautiful for our businesses. Because you see, once you've done all the right things, you know, like the Bible says, after having done all that the situation requires, you stand. But here we're saying that after having done all the right things, the branding, the marketing, the recruitment, keeping your books properly, paying your taxes and all of that, there is something else that you do which is not on the script, and that comes from within. It's going to be that fire in your belly that's positive. That comes from an abundance mindset. Because you are what you think.
100%.
You are what you see. And we gave that example about when someone wants to make a purchase of a vehicle. And that was so true for me. I don't know how true it is for you listening to us this afternoon, but if you decide to buy, let's say, a Toyota Corolla, have you noticed that all the cars that you see on the road leading up to the time you make that purchase are a Toyota Corolla? You don't see any other car. You see exactly the car you want to buy, and you make a statement, that's my car. That's the car I want to buy. So then you sort of personalize it, and that's what we're saying. Because once you start to do that, then you begin to ask questions. How many types of this car are there? Which one is the latest model? Which one did I see that I liked? What model was that? How do I maintain it? Where do I find help? And that's why when you ask people about reviews and opinions, they will give you their experiences. Spend time, and we talked about spending time around the people who have done or are doing the things that you want to do. I mean, you, Daniel, your experience was that you were able to write a book. The 12 secrets.
12 sales secrets.
12 sales secrets that the big companies would rather you didn't know. And one of the things that challenged you to do that was because you were spending time around people, a couple of friends, all of whom had written a book. And that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Someone said to me once that if you're an eagle and you spend time with chickens, you'll begin to think that you're a chicken. And so spend time with the right people. I mean, all of these conversations and more here on the show today. Daniel, I'm excited. Let's do a quick recap, if you will, and then we sort of continue with today's conversation. But before you do that, though, just remind our listeners that today's show is sponsored by GCB, your bank for life, and GCB has a wonderful message for us. GCB says that if you want to pay your educational fees or urgent medical expenses, or any pop-up expenses or bills, or do any home makeovers or renovations, or even travel on holiday, it's getting to that time of year where people take some time off to rest, then by all means visit any of the GCB branches or call them on 0800 422 422 for a GCB personal loan today. GCB, your bank for life. If you also own any motor vehicle of any kind, today a lot of people have cars and they're driving on the roads, and by all means we want you to arrive alive. So if you're listening to us, don't text while you drive. Goyle has some wonderful information for you, and Goyle is saying that visit any of the Goyle filling stations or offices, or go to the website on registration.goyle.com.gh. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, they say, Yenara, Yedia. Back to this conversation. Team vision mindset to ensure maximum and optimized coordination. Every time I think of the conversations we're having on having a positive mindset, team vision, thinking positively, there's only one statement that comes to my mind: the audacity of hope. And it just keeps ringing in my mind. That's me. I don't know how you interpret it, but we will get interactive at this point. We're also streaming live on Facebook if you're watching us, for those of us who like to take notes. And we're sharing a couple of slides which will help you to take notes as well. At some point in the show, we will get interactive, and then you get to also be a part of this conversation. But Daniel, in the next few minutes, if you will, quick recap for flow of thought from last week. And then let's go straight into today's conversation.
I think last week
Yes.
I talked about challenges,
Yes,
that challenges are very normal, living life generally, and also in business. And anytime you are facing challenges, simply means that there's a knowledge that you don't have. And it simply means that there's a knowledge that when you have, it will take you to the next level. And every next level has its own challenge. So let's accept it that it's acceptable. It's okay to have
You
challenges.
know, when you said every next level has its own challenges, I was holding myself not to get involved. But someone said to me once, says, yeah, every level has its own devil.
Yes. So
It almost sounds like cliche, but
yes,
it's true actually.
yes. Every level has.
There are
its
some
own.
problems you won't have in your business if you are not doing more than a certain. Let's say if you're pushing 100,000 revenue every month, you will
yes.
see certain problems.
Yes.
When you start pushing 500,000 every month, you begin to see problems that are at the 500,000 level.
Yes.
And it's the same with opportunities, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, indeed.
And the last recap from last week, which was actually my favorite, was that life is a bet. And the greatest bet you can make is a bet on yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Life is a bet.
Life is a bet. It's a life of no guarantees. It's a bet. And the greatest bet you can make is a bet on your own self. That no matter what, I'll make this work.
I mean, you know, we talked about the example of waking up in the morning and not knowing what is going to happen at the end of the day.
Yes.
I mean, regardless of what you've planned, man proposes, but God disposes. So
Exactly.
yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go drop my child off. I'm going to go do this. That's all stuff that you have planned.
You have planned.
But there are, should I say, in that formula, there are variables and constants which you do not control.
You do not, exactly.
And they can flip the final equation in any direction.
Exactly.
And that's what you mean when you say there are no guarantees.
Yeah, there are no guarantees.
You know, so for every business owner listening to us, I'm sure you've learned this in business school, or life in business has taught you this, that regardless of what you plan, you must make room and accommodation for the fact that there may be unexpected outcomes. And that's what we mean by life has no guarantee. So, you know, you travel to Europe, you buy those spare parts, you put them on a ship, and you expect them to be here in 6 weeks, in 7 weeks. Most probably they will arrive in Ghana. And there is that 1% chance that they may not. And that's what you should make room for.
Yes.
So then you should always, so the learning point here is that because life has no guarantees, you should always, as a business person, have a fallback plan.
Yes. Always.
Always have a fallback plan.
Yes.
Don't go into it and say, there are two, you know, somebody says there are two formulas in this equation. Plan A, make sure that the ship arrives in 6 weeks. Plan B, refer to plan A. You know, I mean, that's no plan.
Yes, that's no plan.
That's no plan.
Yeah.
Always have a fallback plan. Learning
Yes.
point. Because life has no guarantees, let's always have a fallback plan in business as we go along. Right, let's
Yes.
continue.
And just to add to that, that's the last thing basically. Just to add to that, so you should be able to list a couple of things that could happen. We are not being pessimistic. Let's be optimistic always, but let's have the level of risk. What's the level of risk if this happens? If that happens? If the business burns down? If we realize that payments don't come in? You should always list down every single risk that you believe can happen to the business and immediately write down all the things you do when they happen. Immediately you begin to think when risks happen, you'll be in trouble because you'll be acting out of desperation and you'll be acting without your brains being wired in the right direction. So you should write them whilst you are sane and whilst it hasn't happened. So that immediately it does, you just fall back to it and follow the plan that you put there.
I mean, some businesses today call them sustainability plans or business continuity.
Exactly.
So, I mean, some of the big corporates, and I'm sharing this here so that some of us who have started in small businesses will understand. In all of the big English that we speak about business continuity and sustainability, all we're saying is that if something goes wrong, what is your fallback plan?
Exactly.
If you come to work and there's no ECG, what is your fallback plan?
Yes.
When your generator doesn't start, where will you send your customers to? If your business manager calls in sick, who is the next person?
Yeah.
Succession plan.
Exactly.
So you must have a business continuity plan. It means that what are all the things that could go wrong, and when they go wrong, what are all the alternatives that are available to me now? And like Daniel is saying, you don't wait until you're in a problem. before you start thinking it.
Yeah.
You think it now and you put it down.
Exactly.
It's actually very important
Yes.
as business owners that
Yes.
that we do that. Right. So going into today,
Okay, so going into today we're basically talking about the team vision and mindset to ensure coordination. The reason there is a business and you have people joining in your team is simply because you can't do it alone. Any vision you can chase alone is a vision which is not big enough. So if your vision is big enough, then you need people. And if you need people, then you must make sure that they are well aligned and synchronized with you and the vision, and they are doing everything that they have to do to ensure that that vision is accomplished. That is where the shared vision and the team mindset comes into place. Because if you have a team and everybody is doing their own thing, then trust me, action is not productivity, or activity is not productivity. So you may have a business and everybody comes to the office and everybody is active, but it doesn't mean that everybody is productive. Productivity comes place when they are doing things to meet the vision or objectives of the vision. They may be doing something which is good, but is it aligned with exactly what we are going to achieve, or exactly what we want to achieve in this particular period, in this week, in this month, in this year? Is it aligned? If it's not aligned, they are basically being active and not productive.
I'm quiet because I wanted to sink in. I mean, so you can have activity without productivity.
Yes.
And we're not just throwing words around here. What we're saying is that you can show up at work and in a whole week, people will be moving around, bustling, moving stuff here and there, burning fuel in the process, putting on the air condition in the process, and there will be no positive, beneficial result for all that action.
Yes.
That is just activity and no productivity.
No productivity.
And so as business owners, let's look out for that. Is it all activity, or it's activity that brings productivity?
Exactly.
I mean, we're not saying that every single activity that you engage in is going to bring profit. No, sometimes you must keep the wheel spinning.
Yes.
But at the end of a certain periodic process, your activity must transform or translate necessarily into productivity.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're just being active and not productive.
You're just being active. Yeah.
There's a point you made earlier about aligning the vision.
Yes.
And I think that we've said it a lot of times here on Masterclass. It's absolutely important that as a business owner, you ensure that your team is aligned. When we say aligned, what is your vision for the business? They need to understand it. If you need to repeat it every morning in morning meetings, you have that sort of 30 minutes in the morning, you meet your team. If you need to keep repeating it, please keep repeating it. Because if you're, let's say, an auto company, the guy at the pump who is tightening the bolts and nuts, the watchman at the gate who opens, or the security guard, needs to understand where you are going as a business owner. Otherwise, they're going to be tagging in different directions. And I've had this conversation with someone just about 2 weeks ago, and I said to them, the perfect example of people tagging in different directions is an Adinkra symbol that we have in this country, which is an object, like an animal that has, I think, 2 or 4 heads, and it has one body. And can you begin to imagine, when they eat, they fight, but it goes to the same body.
The same body. I love that.
And it's actually, it says funtun funefu, then chen funefu, when fuye back on so we did now wonku. Can you begin to imagine that these different heads and feet are trying to move in different directions? So at every point in time, you move 4 steps to the right, then you move 2 steps to the left, then you move 3 steps downwards, then you move 1 step up. What's going to happen is that you are going to create a circumference of about, let's say, 100 meters in diameter, and you are not going anywhere outside of that because you're just shuffling left and right. And all your effort is going to just result in activity. So as business owners, we need to be very particular. If you're not aligned, people are tagging in different directions. And all your resource and your effort is going down the drain. So it's a very important point that you make.
Yes. And I love exactly what you mentioned, because it happens a lot in business. Departments are working together for a vision. They are not fighting. But sometimes you see that maybe this department and that department do not click.
Sales and finance.
For that one.
Sales and finance.
For that particular one, it's a very deep conversation.
It hits your heart, eh?
Yes.
Finance says we won't pay.
Pay.
Sales says we are building the customer. We are working the customer. So we want to see return on investment. So you will see it later. It's gradual.
It's
so
gradual.
You want to see
understand. Especially with marketing and finance.
Yeah.
especially with marketing and finance. So it's very interesting, but sometimes when we get to understand the full vision, it begins to make sense.
Yes.
And especially when, so basically the goals of the organization should be measurable. Anything you can't measure can never be improved. And anything you can't measure doesn't exist. Anything you can't measure can never be improved. And anything you can't measure doesn't exist.
In fact, I dare say it's frivolous.
Yeah.
It's a waste of your resources
Yeah.
because you can't tell, how much of what is required to produce what.
Exactly.
And it's just a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Stay away from it as a business owner. If you can't measure it, stay away from
Stay
it.
away from it. You should be able to measure that.
Yeah.
So I was talking about the shared vision and everybody in the company working as one. I love the example you gave. But the thing is that people cannot work as one if they don't know exactly where they are going. They must all know where they are going, and not just where they are going, but which part do they play in where they are going, so that they will be able to align and then play their own part. And a business that doesn't know where it's going and doesn't give specific direction to the people to let them know exactly what to do to know where they are going, it's a business that's wasting their time. Because until they know where they are going, they can't put in the efforts to. So they will be active, but they will not be productive because the vision is not clear. And I love the fact that if you have to, you said that if you have to mention it every day, you have to mention it. That's the truth. Actually, a company vision is not something you say once and then you put a nice picture in the office. That's not what you do. It's like, say you want to go to the gym. You don't go for 9 hours and hope that all of a sudden you are the most, strongest man in the world. It's something you do daily. It's something that's periodical. You have to put in that effort. So at least every week during your meetings, you should remind the team and everybody about the company vision, where we are going, where we have come from, and how far we have to go.
Usain Bolt is reported once to have said that he had to train for 4 years.
4 years.
To run 9 seconds.
Yes.
9 seconds. The thing was not even up to 10 seconds. It's not up to 1/6
No.
of a minute.
No. I had to train 4 years.
4 years to
Yeah.
achieve 9 seconds.
Yeah.
So consistency is
Consistency.
required.
Consistency.
So persevering consistency.
Yeah.
Keep saying it over and over and over until even when they are asleep and you tap them and they wake up.
Yeah.
So what is this company about?
They should be able to tell you.
I think we do better with taglines than we do with the vision. And so therefore, if your vision is not encapsulated in your tagline,
tagline.
for example, we say, okay, I'm not going to use anybody's tagline. we say, let's say, just give me a tagline. Okay, so for example, we say Masterclass, powered by Joy Business.
Yeah.
We'll keep saying Masterclass, powered by Joy Business.
Yeah.
Every time you say it, we repeat it without thinking about it.
Yeah.
But we'll do that better if the vision is not clear in that tagline.
Yeah.
Then what's going to happen is that we're going to have to remember the vision. And usually some long winding,
long vision that...
So by the time they finish reading it, they don't remember it.
They don't remember it. A vision should be something that people should be able to easily understand, simple, they can easily carry it out.
Where am I going? Full stop.
Exactly. Some people even use complex English in the vision.
To become the...
Yeah, no, because it's a vision, so they want to use complex English to make it a bit complex to show...
If I say anything, I'll quote somebody's vision. So let's continue.
Yes. So once we understand all that, we must know that one department's work affects every other department. So don't see yourself as maybe I am the manager of sales, so I don't care about how our front desk looks like. So I'm a manager of sales. Once I enter the front desk, I know that the place is messed up. I don't care. It's the work of admin or it's the work of HR. Even if you don't have to do it, send a message. You should be fully involved in every part of the business because you are not your role. Don't attach yourself to a role. Attach yourself to the vision. However, you have a specialized role. So any other thing that the vision is involved in should be something that you are concerned about. So if you are HR, for example, you realize that the sales team could have done this, and that. You think they need training. Put that training together fast. Don't wait for possibly have a conversation with the sales manager and know that how their numbers are coming up. It's possibly not good. They are not converting good. So I suggest you get a sales coach. Maybe I suggest you talk to Daniel Sapon. Let him do a training for your team. So no matter your position, be fully involved in every part of the business. Because if you win and another department loses, you have lost.
Yes. The net effect.
Yeah. The net effect, you have lost.
Net
Yeah.
is a loss.
Exactly. So let's look at it on a broader scale in terms of the vision of the company.
It's actually important. I mean, as business owners, I think that the message is clear. I don't even need to repeat it. If you're a team member or an employee in any company, you need to understand that your work is as important as the next person's. And together you form a team.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner who has a team you're working with, you need to push this message to them repeatedly.
Exactly.
So that at some point it becomes part of their ethos, their work ethic, who they are. They don't have to think it. They don't have to overthink it.
Yeah.
They wake up in the morning and then they understand it.
Exactly.
Right. Important thoughts being shared. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on the Super Station Joy 99.7. We're spending time again here with Daniel Sapon, and we're talking about having a positive mindset. Last week, we talked about positive mindset to deal with challenges and stress. Today, we're talking about having a positive mindset to help your teams at work optimize all of the coordinations in the respective arms that come together, if you like. So, for example, if you've got different departments working together, how does the positive mindset help the team effort? There's purchasing, there's warehousing, there's supply, there's transport. Transport says you can't come here after 4 o'clock because it takes 1 hour to load. And by 5 o'clock is rush hour. Then, let's say warehousing says we couldn't find the keys, so we are coming in an hour late. Transport says you can't move today. Sales says the customer is waiting for the product. I know these are all real life situations, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is neither of your respective departments. It is the company.
It's the company.
Does the company need to make the sale? Can warehousing not make sure it doesn't happen the next time? Can transport say this is where we are? Where do we go from here? Do they need an escort to make sure they get through rush hour faster? Can they make that exception on that? So we all need to sort of compromise at some point, but the focus is on the company.
On the company's growth.
Not on the individual. Of course, you can go and do your locker room fights after that. But
that one happens.
Yeah, you can do your locker room fight after that one. But
after that,
think company. Don't think me. So think us. Think us.
Us, the company.
Not me.
Not my department.
Right. Important thoughts there. Let's share a few more, and before we get interactive, and we've talked about thinking beyond your role, and we've shared a few thoughts here. Leadership and growth. Let's talk about that.
This is a topic that I'm very passionate about because of my experience, basically. So, for those who are wondering, I've worked in 3 different multinational companies in top management. Companies headquartered in Switzerland, Sweden, and Ukraine. So I've seen all the global.
The Ukraine?
Yes, the Ukraine.
I mean, I couldn't help putting that fun at you.
Yes. So I have seen how top level moves. I have seen structures, processes, and systems. And I would want to address this, that we have this old mindset that leadership is intimidation. Leadership is wickedness. Leadership is not listening to anybody and making everybody afraid of you. There's a big difference between respect and honor and intimidation. If you intimidate your people, you can still get things done, but you never get things done when you are not around. But if your people work with you because of respect and honor, whether you are around or not, they are willing to put in the effort to make things work because they feel so bad and don't want to disappoint you.
This thing you said about leadership, we've actually had a whole show here on leadership, and I think that in essence, I kind of agree with you. I do somehow have a very sharp difference of thought. I just do that to provoke thought sometimes. I won't say that now. I'll say that when we come back.
Yeah, okay.
And we're waiting for the phone lines to ring, because I think that different leadership styles elicit different results. But eventually, let people do it because they want to.
Because they want to.
Not because they have to. That sort of works a bit better. But I mean, I have a few thoughts of my own. Before I share those thoughts, though, I mean, we just want to take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we open the phone lines and we get interactive. We take a quick message right now.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook, via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. We continue the conversation on having a positive mindset with Daniel Sarpong. The phone lines are now open. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can also send us your message on 055 1111997. Let's hear your thoughts. We're talking about using a positive mindset to deal not with stress and challenge, but to be able to help with team coordination and to be able to move your business forward. We continue in that same line of conversation. Like I always say, life is too short to make all the mistakes ourselves. What has your personal experience been? Send us a WhatsApp on 055 1111997 or pick up that phone and give us a call 0302 216 541. Just also remind us that today's show is brought to us by GCB. GCB, your bank for life. GCB is saying that if you want to pay your fees or have any medical expenses or pop-up expenses or home makeovers or renovations or take a vacation or go anywhere, ask for the GCB personal loan today and call 0800 422 422. GCB, your bank for life. Goyle also has some great news for us and is rewarding all of his prepaying Go customers with up to 2 pesos discount on each liter of fuel purchased. So visit any of our Goyle filling stations today. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, Yenara. I've got a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name and where you're calling from.
Chidiak.
Chidiak. You've been missing in action. How are you, my brother?
Good.
So which part of Ghana are you calling from today?
Sapla.
Hey, Charlie. Idechilo. Talk to me, my brother.
Yeah, let's go this way. This part of the world where leadership pretend to pay staff and staff pretend to work, how can you achieve the best?
You are quoting a certain famous Ghanaian, no? You should credit your source.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, how do we achieve the best?
In the context of people pretending to work and people pretending to pay them.
Yes, and leadership pretend to pay.
Right.
Because it seems your resource guy is just telling us that, yes, your workers must be your friend, and if you are not there, they can put in the best and all that. And here comes leadership pretends to pay, and workers pretend to work. How do you achieve that best? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Idiak. Thank you for listening. So, numbers to